One of Washington, D.C.'s forgotten landmarks has been a battleground for the past years as local government and community residents argue over development plans. The historic McMillan Park and Sand Filtration site with its silos and underground cells located on 25 acres in northwest Washington, D.C. is slated for revitalization, but parties are at odds over just how to proceed. The nonprofit McMillan Park Committee filed a lawsuit under the Freedom of Information Act in March demanding transparency from Washington city officials regarding current development plans. The group seeks to reopen the development bidding process in order to present alternative plans for a sustainable residential and commercial site.
The problem with the current plan is it's immense. It's about 8-story, possibly 8 to 10-story buildings. It's extremely dense with commercial development, housing. It's like they squeeze every bit of development on the project. It is a historic site. They do not respect the history of the site. They do not preserve any of the historic features of the site, which they are required by law. There is very little open and green space, which is essential to this particular site. So the problem with the plan, it's too dense and it doesn't respect the history of this particular site.
Further meetings are scheduled to reassess historic preservation any time now, but to this date, traffic, sewage, and environmental impact studies have yet to be released. In the meantime, neighbors fear that a dense and poorly designed development will negatively impact residences and businesses.
I see firsthand every day the traffic jams that we have without developing this property. The developer has no coherent plan for how to fix this transportation problem. There's no metro service up here. The city has done studies that show that of all the commuter sites in the city, because of the 4 hospitals and the number of people that work here, it's the least served by buses. It's more than an hour for 90% of the people that live in Washington to get here by bus, and there is no metro. So the only choice people have is cars.
Current proposals to alleviate the transportation problem include a cloverleaf traffic system, workforce housing, and an improved public transportation system. But just as worrisome for the residents of the Bloomingdale neighborhood downhill from the McMillan site is the antiquated combined stormwater and sewage system. With heavy rain such as the one that fell on August 12th, sewage backs up into people's homes and turns Rhode Island Avenue into a lake.
We're talking about the sewer system that's in this area, which is a low-lying area, and the fact that it is inadequate. It's supposedly a small pipe. So with the addition of all these new condos and the new development that's proposed at the reservoir, how can you proceed to build all this other structures without changing the infrastructure, being the sewer and drain setup that we already have, without correcting it first? So that's a problem for me, because there's nothing been addressed to fixing the infrastructure that's already in place.
Both short-term and long-term measures have been taken by the city to mitigate the problem. So far, some sewer pipes have been replaced with larger ones. Others have been repaired and more catch basins have been built. DC Water, formerly WASA, routinely performs maintenance on catch basins when bad weather looms over the nation's capital. But it is only the complete overhaul of the sewage system, a long, complex, and costly public works project that will solve this problem. As it stands, it is over a decade and many more millions of dollars away from being completed. Ahead of the upcoming mayoral and ward elections, City Council member Harry Thomas Jr. seems well aware of the various problems associated with the development at the McMillan site. He believes that the sooner parties can come to an agreement over development, the sooner the issues of traffic and stormwater can be addressed and resolved.
You know, any development we bring to a community should not just be for the new development, but it should be for the enhancement of the total community. So some of the issues like stormwater management, some of the issues like traffic and congestion, some of the issues like not having the amenities in your community like a decent grocery store. How great would it be to have a Harris Teeter right there in your neighborhood? How great would it be to have a library and a recreation center for your residents? How great would it be to create workforce housing that reduces traffic, because now you have people who can walk and go to work from your community and take advantage of the beautiful sight lines that we have. And so, as council member, I'm encouraged that we have moved this process along, that I think is now at a stage where we can make some critical decisions to enhance the lives of the residents of Ward 5 and the District of Columbia.
As of late July, the city has added yet another element to the equation in the hiring of a new architect while keeping the development firm that's been with this project since the beginning. So far, it is unclear what prompted that decision, and it is also unclear how this will affect plans at the McMillan Sand Filtration site. Having waited for over 30 years for the vacant site to be developed, some residents are willing to find common ground and move along.
I'm excited. Folks in the neighborhoods are excited about what we're going to do with McMillan, but obviously we have our work cut out for us. In this planning process, we need to address traffic, environmental, historic preservation, and a host of other things. Whatever we build should reflect the diverse needs and wants of the folks in the community and should be consistent with the character of the things that already exist right here in our beautiful community.
What is apparent is that there are stark differences between those who would like to see major development at the site and those who are suspicious of what changes this development could mean. Ultimately, it is up to the entire community to decide what is in their best interest, become informed, and make their voices heard.